Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday. All right, so I've had a heck of a glitch happening in game for myself. So it started on Tuesday, probably. I kept getting the cons officer shard acquisition event popping up, and it's elevated to Crucible of War SMS popping up. Hi, Meat Bicycle. How are you doing tonight? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. So until that officer acquisition event completely disappeared, I was getting pop-ups for that. And as soon as that one disappeared, the Crucible of War one started popping up at work as normal. Well, that's a good thing. Routines and money, it's all nice to have. Man, the number of priority 1 ATAs is amazing. 3 before notification keeps coming up. Yeah. Yeah, for the full SMS. So it's not like it's just one milestone, it's for all 4 milestones. It is not nearly as bad as the full treasury because it just exists in the events tab. So this will just flow. And it's just one event that I have to go through. And I can ignore it because it's just here until I need to click on the box. Because so it's still better than having the big pop-up in the middle of the screen that gets stuck. Hi Tricky. How you doing tonight? That event is a joke, basically impossible for G6. No way to get enough speed ups to run that many P1 missions. Yeah, it's tough. The good thing is you don't have to get all of the events to do the full completion of the meta. I think I said 3 of them or whatever. So you can do different days of it. So you can stock up for a few days. Basically like every 4 days or something. I don't even know. 3 days. Like complete every third one or something like that. Keep telling girlfriend to win lotto so I can be kept. I can win myself or I would die from ladyboys and no one knows no. I don't have much self-control. Yeah, I usually try to do what I can in the priority 1 events. I kind of just assume I'm not going to get the top milestone in the meta, but I can at least get a little something out of it usually. I don't push things too hard with it at least. Being as there's only 4 more events after this one. So I'll have to be able to try to complete 2 of these priority 1 SMSs to be able to get the full completion, and that's going to be a tough ask in 3 days. Yeah, there's problems with both generations. It's just kind of The problems are a little bit different. Same result though. It's difficult to complete the event and requires a lot of planning and tactic. Which they did a fairly decent job of laying out the schedule, so it was a little bit of ability to be able to plan it out. Anorax, Hammer, and Una. It'll suck a little bit not to get the 50,000 event store credits, but it's better than stressing yourself out. Just waiting for one more officer tokens drop tomorrow, and you can max out Richel. Nice. Yeah, I've been loving the big choice. The big choice for everything has been really, really, really cool. Like it was kind of nice when they just started it off with just the um selecting the ore crystal or gas rewards. Like that was pretty cool. And then yeah, the way that they've been doing the officers, instead of having, just like 4 or 5 and maybe a couple randos, having like whatever. I don't even know how many officers we get to choose from. I've never really counted, but I mean it's all the key categories are covered because you get PvP, PvE choices. Ooh, another compensation gift. Oh, that's the one for the alliance tournaments. Yeah, there's some there's some snoozers. There's definitely some snoozers in there, but depending on where you're at in the game, it might be some of the officers might be really key, and some of them might already be maxed and don't have to worry about, and others are just not necessary for most people. Like I'm not a PvP heavy person, so like I only need to focus on having like one ship's PvP. I don't have to worry about PvP crewing like 4 ships or anything like that for the most part. Forgot to look to see who was below deck. Dr. Beardine. Those of I didn't even look to see. I'm just assuming this is actually Mirror Universe Hostiles. Yeah, the DTI store and S31 store, the Augment store, like there's a lot of really good sourcing. Like even like the SMW crew and like the DS9 crew and stuff. Like those are very easily sourced. Maybe just pick a random system day. They've been doing it pretty consistently. Had that officer store up fairly consistently now, and I don't think we're gonna probably deviate too far away from that because I think everybody would grab pitchforks and torches if we did. It's probably less work for them to design it that way too. They don't have to put thoughts into what's available for the most part, and they don't have to, like curate the stuff. I mean, they just copy and paste that all the time and add a new bucket every 4 months to put in the new officers from whatever new group that they had released 6 months ago or 3 months ago or something, or however they work in. Yeah, see, it just keeps on happening. The Crucible of War SMS from nothing, nowhere. It's been a little bit confusing though, because like this month we technically had 3 different event store currencies, maybe even 4. I shouldn't say event store currencies because the choice tokens are the battle pass currency, and then the officer and the cons shard thing. Where do we want to go to hunt? I haven't been to Cedarlaga before, so might as well just go up there. I kind of like the fact that they threw 2 impulse officers into this mix. Should have put up a poll to see if the automatic Rift navigation was going to work for the whole trek or not. Well, it all depends on what you're going up against because you don't have to get anything particular for these events, so you can hit whatever you want. Yeah, I kind of thought about that too. Like it wouldn't be a bad excuse to grind out a little bit of rep. Well, that's not bad. Using all your time and pretty much all your ship, it kind of feels that kind of makes it feel efficient in a way because you're kind of putting it all out on the table then. Yeah, it is definitely a rough damage crew. Yeah, sometimes like those ones are like like one hit and you're like 3/4 of your hull gone all of a sudden, it's like, okay, well, I can use the protection ability and, be able to get maybe 2 or 3 of them out of this. It's not too bad if you're in a system where you can do mining. I don't A lot of these events seem like they were pushing pretty decent numbers on the hostels for the count that you had to kill, but I think the last couple of days seemed like they might have decreased it or something, or if I'm just getting used to having to hit more than like 30. Or maybe I've just been luckier with the officers. It's probably the officers. I only had I only thought that I had like 90 points the other day. Yeah, the Cisco crew was awesome. I felt like that was like 6 hits and done. Oh, 1,600 points. I didn't even look at that. Yeah, I'm getting 80 some points a pop, so that's like 20 hostiles. That's almost not even worth burning a token for. Yeah, I imagine that there's probably a lot of variability on where people are at. I mean, the ship's been available for free for quite a long time now, but I don't mind easy. I'm never gonna be shy about having things a little bit easier from time to time. Kirshara is a really good grab. I think that and the Armada speed ups are like two of the best things that can be sourced for free in the game right now. I mean, the best thing about the Kirshara is if you're in 3 different systems, you can get your attention distracted away from them. That's pretty good then. Speaking of a tournament store, I should look and see what we have for tournaments available that I can complete. Ooh, wow. There's a lot of them out right now. Yeah, I've got my Kirshara set at the up to whatever the level is to get to 7. Um 7 in Q. And I think that's a really perfect spot because that's the number that you need to do your freebooter daily. Sometimes you forget that you got the Armada speed up. There's times where I don't use them, especially like doing solos where they're only like a minute and a half. Because sometimes it takes like 30 seconds for the ships to get all the way across the system if you need to do some impulse. So then it's like, I don't know if it's worth burning the tokens for 45 seconds worth of, cutting it in half. You're focusing on the 33 count Trilok and Free Burrell. Think Lord for Gokor. Tigokor. Yeah, Tigokor. Man, that Federation grind. What does that do? Does that take the... Was that negative rep on the Federation? I don't even remember how that worked. I know the Tigokor grind was the best one out of the entire game for its level. Like, that beat a lot of G4 systems. Yeah, killing Klingons, raising Federation. My instinct was correct on that one. Yeah, that allows for the really quick grind. So if you lock Klingon first, you can really grind out the Federation and make a lot of progress on Romulan really quick. Or you can lock those two and then go grind Klingon. I don't remember what level system you had to get to before it traded off, and it wasn't nearly as good as Tiger Core. Like 46 or 47 or something like that. You always beat on the Klingons. Be careful, they enjoy that a little bit. All right, so we'll let this one do some mining to finish out its time here. And then we'll take Voyager out. We've got this other away teams thing. So we can make a little bit of progress on that one and the other one together. I'm gonna wait and see what I get for chest pulls. Oh, we got 2 Voyager events today. Nice. I spend a lot of my game beating on the Klingons a lot too. Or the Federation. I was always Romulan for G3 and G4 and G5. And then I switched over to Klingons for G6. I never really had that much for Federation ships that were really flyers. Not at least while I was like in the active generation for them. Yeah, freeze. Freeze always the way to go. It doesn't matter where it is. Yeah, the only Klingon ship's been the Rataran. Yeah. Nagvar is my only Klingon ship I've really had. I mean, I picked up like a Burrell and a D4 and a D3 and stuff. But like the D4, I only got that, like 2 or 3 months ago just from the um away team store credits. I mean, that's a lot of takes a lot of credits to get up to those whatever it is 600 blueprints that you need. You know, the first time I read Suitor's description, I thought it actually was talking like he was a critical chance officer, so I thought he was like a second Hugh for a minute there. Yeah, I unlocked DeMarco and Suitor yesterday from the Augment store. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, when I've gotten those ships, it's been, you know, like 5 or 10 levels past when they would have been useful. Just, you know, building them because I had the blueprints accumulated at that point. Like at the beginning of territories capture, I had like I built the D4 to be able to do, you know, like some better defenses and stuff. You know, having all 3 epics was a little bit nice to go along with the whatever I had for G4 ships at the time. But yeah, the way that it's been going, the ever since Voyager came around with the ability to hunt those cubes, and well, now with the Mirror Universe too, just having the ability to have so many faction credits, it's almost impossible to not get a ship for free these days. I'm about to build a Minerva to be able to tear up the cube. Yeah, the tier 9's a long ways away, but man, that makes the cube so hard hitting. I think Voyager is 36. It's tough to tell when you're just already high enough. I kind of wish that they still had that listed on there. No, it just describes the loop. Yeah, I kind of think it's 36. But it would actually be advantageous if it was 34 because then you almost can skip faction epics. Almost. If you're going on a quick grind to get to the 40s or something like that, it definitely would be skippable. Yeah, honestly, the cube. Well, I mean, the repairs on the cube are cheaper because it's only partial Sigma, and the speed ups are still G5 or you know regular speed ups on it for the ship repairs. So like it's cheaper to run it, and it's a lot more fun. because being able to use the cutting beam, I mean, you can put a pretty significant percentage increase to your number of hostiles per hull or per whatever time cycle you want to use. Yeah, that's that's such a tough bid to warrant building a ship like that just to be able to upgrade the cube, but that's a long it can be a long road to 66. Having something stronger than a G5 Epic is handy. I'm not going to say necessary, but handy, I will say. I mean, I basically free played 64 to 66 in the last year. Maybe 63 to 66. So I mean, it's definitely doable. Yeah, the speed ups are the hardest part. There's definitely spots to pick them up with the in the DTI store and Section 31 too, I think. Yeah. And then I think there might be a little bit in the priority 1 ATAs. I guess that's more of an assumption than knowledge though. I've been avoiding the rep grind. I've been kind of just approaching let it happen naturally. I've got Romulan and or not Romulan, Klingon and Federation up to where I can get the 66 ships. And you know, that's kind of just where I need to be. I don't know what the road is to 70. I was kind of hearing that once you get past 66, it's not too rough. I guess expensive was the word that was used. I do like having two selkies. I have three actually. I've got one that's just high enough to be able to make it to the second mining systems, and then I've got two that are high enough to be able to make it to the third, wherever the hazard system is. I yeah, there's I need to start kind of restockpiling some of my ore because I've spent I spent a lot of it in the like the regular refinery and the bonus refinery over the last few months, trying to get my ops upgrade pushed up and getting prepped for doing the shuttle bay that I need to be able to do Shipyard 66. The choices have been really, really instrumental in getting that all set, though. I always forget how quick these Voyager events go, too. That should be full there, and then this one was done too. Yeah, like right now I don't have any I don't have any of my mining ships out, but I should really focus on setting them. It's gotten to the point now where the space is occupied enough that if you go zero at all, you're gonna get nabbed. In pretty much any system that I go into. It seems weird to see a Revenant hitting normal hostiles. Well, semi-normal hostiles. I don't think these token systems are going to pan out tonight. Usually these things are pretty empty. My biggest problem that I run into is the ore systems around here are usually pretty full. Where's the other ore system? Yeah, I'm gonna have to get my stuff geared up so I can make it to the next levels yet. I don't know if I have the resistance to be able to. Yeah, I don't have the resistance quite yet. Or the warp range. So that should kind of come hand in hand. Yeah, there's some nodes free up here at least. That's probably the only regret that I have with building 3 is maybe one of these could be a tier higher. So faction credits was definitely not a holdback. Yeah, because I mean, especially with like the forbidden technology, like I've got the three different mining drills, and then yeah, I just set a crew up to build the or for mining the specific stuff. Yeah, having your off credits available for these ships is really, really, really useful. Like I didn't build the G5 rare ship, the rare miner, and I probably won't build the G6 rare. I don't think. I don't intend to, at least. Sometimes things happen and perspectives change, but from where I sit currently, I don't intend to. Yeah, I think I ended up having four Novas. I think I built two of them, and I think I ended up getting the blueprints for another two, honestly. Well, those were fun ships before the amalgam really came up. Yeah, the G4 miners, as long as you can get into the nodes, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, I don't know. Three of them is usually useful. It's become a little bit tougher as the populations increased. Um, Mondays are almost impossible to find a node, of course, but like even now, this system, there's what, two nodes that were free? Three. You know, it's not that far out there, but it's 63, it's a pretty decent distance out. It's beyond the entry level stuff, that's for sure. Okay, so the other one there was priority one assignments. Is that the only two that we really have to do today? Is the Your Universe and the one Voyager? So this is 1100 warp. Mine's at tier 4 right now. And I got the warp engine, so it'd be tier 5 for that. Well, unless you put like Grush or something on, or if you have the forbidden tech that does the warp range boost. Like with Grush and then that forbidden tech, you might be able to get away with that at tier 3. As long as you have the hazard resistance. Because you need to have 200% hazard resistance for these ones. Yeah, you should be able to make that with Grush, I think. I mean, the Selkie gets a pretty decent amount off of the early parts of that research. And then that gives you more of the credits for doing that additional research too. That hazard researches, or the researchers that use the hazard tokens, that's my favorite stuff to do, like in the like Tuesday through Thursday time span when there's not a spend event going, because you can still keep doing researches and not have to spend any of your mats that you need for the spend events. Super useful. Yeah, yeah, territory and starbase, same kind of thing. I mean, that's the only reason I'm as far in starbase research as I am. It's like those easy 20 or 30 points or whatever you end up getting off of it come in handy. I should have threw Phlox on here. You know, I never put two and two together, and I don't know if it's by design or not, but being at level 65 and being able to use Cutting Beam against 65 hostiles is kind of handy. I mean, that technically would have opened up at 63, but having that forbidden tech leveled up as high as you can get it too is really useful. I think that Chronoton Dart thing or whatever it's called, that was definitely one of my bigger targets. All right, well, enjoy your beer, enjoy your time with your wife. I hope you have a good evening. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, I think I ended up getting level locked on the or ship tier locked on that forbidden tech about the same time that I got up to tier 9 on my 63 ship. So I didn't really realize that it was level locked at that ship tier like that. That kind of had that hidden hope that I'd be able to keep on upgrading it and really get that Cutting Beam charged up. But it's still really, really useful to be able to knock down what I can. Every once in a while, I bring the cube into a higher level system where the hostiles have a little bit more hull health behind them, and I have to take 2 shots at them, and it gets confusing to kind of try to keep track of the one ship that you've got partial shots against, especially when the charge happens quick enough that you have to wait for the cooldown of the effect. And then the way I've got the community mod set up, I have the default view to be to like the ship's cargo instead of the showing the hull health and stuff. So then every once in a while, I've got to switch that back and forth to change the default view to just the hull. Most of the time, there's not a super big benefit for picking out the hostiles and looking at their cargo ahead of time. I mainly use it for looking at the rep levels more than anything. I do specifically use it for looking at armadas, though, when I'm trying to decide which armada to hit in a system. And that makes it really, really, really convenient for like doing the solo crenums when you have like 10, 10 different armadas there or whatever, or even the Borg solos. And that goes both with the Revenant ones and the Talios ones. That gives you a little strategic advantage, even when it comes to doing the spheres. I think that one was the legit one. Okay, so Trials Bells. Yeah, the spheres stop at 60. They're in just that. They're not even in like the biggest system either. They're in the second biggest system because there's not any attached to that one. They're just attached to this 59. But I mean, I could see that changing at some point too, I guess. Get a Vidar Mark B or whatever. Or Vidar Talios A. Yeah, G7's. G7's right here. They're making a pretty good push on a lot of different things. And I don't know if they really stated that they did a, like an economy boost or not, but I definitely feel like they have, even in G6. Because even like with the Revenant and the Reliant and the Section 31, all of that stuff's been contributing greatly to the amount of resources that players have access to. Yeah. Yeah, G5 scrapping is coming too, which that's kind of a crazy thought because, G4 scrapping really hasn't been too big of a thing. Like you can do it, but there's not a lot of payoff to it. It was kind of worthwhile at the beginning before they readjusted how the points scored for the resource spends. But as they made it more detrimental to, like whatever punch down or whatever with your spend, it made it almost unworth it, unrealistic, not worth your time to do the scrapping for for that. Jellyfish pays for itself. That one's fine. So I was doing, like some of the G4 Explorers because you could kind of pay for it with the jellyfish. Yeah, it took me a while to restock my jellyfish blueprints, actually. I ran out and it took me a while to actually get some back. I was really surprised because it almost felt like there was a, like almost unlimited amount of them available. I think I've got one built, I know for sure. There might be two. I haven't checked for a little bit to see how many blueprints I have for him now, but I also haven't done a jellyfish event in like 6 months. I used to do them, but I think after they added the extra researches for the parts efficiencies, it's just kind of felt really, really unnecessary. I do have two jellyfish build now. I think this one is maxed. Yeah, that one's ready for scrapping. That one, I don't think I've done anything on yet. I'm halfways to my next one. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, is it worth just doing jellyfish scraps? And, do you do Valdors or Coronars, or, what are you what are you gonna scrap off of it? I haven't ran the numbers in a while. It might be getting to the point where it's getting worth it. Getting worth it to do the G4 scrapping to pay for G5 scrapping. Which I guess I don't know what the level requirement for that's gonna be. Because like I don't really think that the level 60s might be able, or people at level 61 or whatever, maybe they can do the 53 ship. How the heck did that get beat? Oh, I did the 4-star one instead of the 3-star one. That's something that changed here really recently is it kind of defaults to like the highest level one that I've completed instead of going back down to the last one that I did. Yeah, the having two rares is kind of a nice thing. I think the rares are kind of the best ships for your ops generation. As far as like a daily use, daily driver. Although the G560s, those ships are nice. Yeah, solo waves. You can tier those things up a long ways. Like I know a lot of the guys in my alliance as they get to 56, they can, take theirs to like tier 6 or something right off the rip. And I'm like, holy crap. Like that's where everything's really, really likes to be. One of those things where I'm just sitting there like, well, back in my day, we had to work for 3 weeks to be able to afford to upgrade our ships to tier 2. But I was also an early adopter, so I got the growing pains pretty hard on G5. They handled G6 so much better than they did G5. The only way that I was able to check, you can send a ticket into support and they can tell you, but I have Google Play um achievements for like reaching ops level 2 or something like that. So I was like, okay, that's pretty close to when I started. I don't remember. It wasn't ops 2, it was probably like ops level 5 or something. So like it would have been within probably a couple of weeks of starting. Because back in the early days, it wasn't a day one thing to hit ops level 5. You can kind of roughly gauge by your server age too, unless you transferred. Because for the most part, they dump people into new servers for the first few months, and then they create a new server. But yeah, then it seems like sometimes they just create too many new servers, and then they end up having to do a merge. Or else their retention of new players hasn't been that great. I'm not certain. Yeah, you can see server age, but they don't have anything for player age that I know of. Was it one of the early level achievements though? Hi, Broken Wolf. What is TWSS? Hit level 5. Okay, yeah, I thought level 5. I think that is the earliest one. I'm trying to decide if TWSS has something to do with a humping turtle and stream stickers. That's what she said. Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. Honestly, thought it was longer. That's what she said. Perfect. Yeah, my level 5 one was August of 2019. So that's almost 6 years. I've seen a lot in this game. Justin. Yeah, that would be just in the game. Is it augment grinding time? I think it's augment grinding time. I sent 5 out on my P1 ATA mission. I'm pretty sure that's where she's at. Yeah. So no time like the present to speed that one up. I I was not I was not expecting Blink 182 in this cover list. All right, we'll just have to hope that the right things come in the chest tonight. I imagine that's a long scrap. 4 days for Entei, so you can do the tier up the NT. Yeah, that'd be really easy to forget. And like you can't even really count on looking that up on like stfc.space or whatever because like I don't know, things are gonna be like different. Yeah. You've already been waiting a week, 11 days. Wow. Like I don't know, when you consider about like how big of a ship it really is, that doesn't seem like a long time. That's one of the things I haven't really done a lot of either is some of the research that increases the scrapping speed. Like I haven't done most of that. I think at some point I might have to consider about catching up on some of that stuff. Like I think I got one of the primes for ship parts. Just kind of like as a prep for G5 scrapping. I don't know which of those ships I would actually scrap. I mean, I didn't go really heavy in the G5s by any means. I've only got the 5 ships, plus the Novas. I only have 2 Novas? Oh, I did only have 2. I did catch a rumor about one of the ships. I don't remember what it was anymore, though. Yeah, I didn't think I lived on that one. I mean, they probably don't have everything 100% finalized yet as far as the final artwork. Because we're still probably 3 or 4 months out from it. $144, and that brought it down to 7. I can't believe there's that much boost to that. Like, that's significant. That makes me wonder how long mine would be because I feel like I'm way behind on that, on the ship scrapping research. I don't have an NTA, but I do have D4 or Hegta. Excuse me. Yeah, that's 14, about 14 days for me. And then, so the helps would take that down. What about 3 days? So I am behind then for sure. No, maybe not that bad then. You're thinking either Excelsior or Nebula? Yeah. It'd be interesting if they were, would try to go with like a Enterprise. I don't even know the next designation after E that was in anything. Sovereign class, yeah. Yeah, that would be the next logical. I was just thinking, like, they never really dove deep into some of the time traveling aspects of the Xindi. Because I know that was a J class, or well, J designation at least. But I don't remember if they really showed any other ships to have anything there. Well, I don't know which IPs they have licensed currently. Um, I thought it had covered all of the movies at the time, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. I mean, it all comes down to licensing, so it's, you know, all what percentage they want to pay out to um Paramount or Viacom or whatever company owns all the stuff these days. Yeah, I'm very curious. Well, I kind of expect to have a revisit into Strange New Worlds too. I don't think that would be a specific tie-in to the G7 by any means, but I think that's probably what our next arc was gonna be. Well, I kind of hope that they have another crossover event because like that was entertaining in the last season, and if they could work that into the game too, that would be a way to touch two with one. Yeah, that one was really divisive. That's a hate it or love it situation, I think. I think they did a good job of keeping it at like the same level of quirkiness that the Strange New World is generally. Ah, fill of cargo already. Buffy the Vampire Slayer? I don't particularly remember that, but I can visualize it so well that I feel like I must have seen it. Like maybe that's a memory that was been buried. I should have gauged how far I was into Augment at the beginning of this. I'm making good progress. Yeah, those shows like that, they always did weird things when they were trying to just kind of keep the series alive. But I feel like that was just kind of a general thing in the 90s too, that they would do weird crap like that. Especially in like a teen type drama show like that. Like I could almost picture that happening in Angel too. I'm almost tempted to YouTube it, but I don't know. No, I can't say that I think that it would enrich in my life by any to actually see it. How much does the board beam actually do to these things? Not jack. I wonder if there's any statistics out there about how many shows have actually done weird little musical bits like that. Yeah, the Discovery. Um, I liked the last season of Discovery, but like the one prior to that was it was a hard watch. I think it was worthwhile to watch, but it was difficult to get into it compared to Strange New Worlds. Yeah, I liked the first season and I liked the last season probably the best out of Discovery. Even the first two seasons, honestly. Network Error 52. I still do have to go out and see Section 31 though too. Oh, really? That far away? Well, I think that was a little excessive. I think Discovery's biggest problem is they always tried to do or tried to show too much. Everything was always over the top. Needlessly exaggerated. I can kind of agree with that. You never really thought about it, but that's always been something that's been good about All Trek is the side cast characters can play such a huge role in the stories. I was a big fan of Giorgio. Hi, Brett. How's it going tonight? You wish the rest of the bridge crews fleshed out a little bit more? Yeah, I think. Yeah, they had a lot of room for. They had a lot of room for improvement there. I think maybe that's part of the thing that made it feel better is towards the end they had a little bit more of a. I don't know if it was more of a major role or if it was just more of a um more of a well-rounded role. Hi Jorg, how's it going tonight? Like the new commander in season 5? Oh, I can't remember. Ah, yeah. I remember him now. Yeah, he was he was one of those ones that he had that dark history too behind him. That's another example of one of those things that they took a little too far, a little further than they needed to with kind of like his dark past. Yeah, the stories with the mirror universe. Yeah. That was I like the juxtaposition that it brought into the series is I think DS9 probably did it the best. Well, I at least enjoyed DS9 more. Like Cisco being a badass was kind of cool. Like that was like the same kind of that was like the same kind of like character that Cisco brought into the Dominion War. Yeah, they've definitely got room for it. I don't know how far that they would really take something like that because they've got all the breadcrumbs that they need for carrying it out. I mean, there's so much lore and canon behind it now. Did they do Mirror with SNW? Or is that something we get to see this season? I feel like there was a mirror. I feel like I could remember seeing Ortega's looking through a data pad and looking at their biographies or whatever. But that's definitely something I need to do. Is I need to do the rewatch on Strange New Worlds. Because we're getting pretty darn close to the next season. Oh, they haven't had the mirror yet? Hi, Ice Wolf. How's it going tonight? I feel like I saw like a sneak peek pictures or something. Oh, apparently not. Thanks for the cheer. Ah, shower time. I don't remember what I set up for all my bit alerts yet. I thought that was like a stream sticker for a second. Yeah, it's like 3 weeks away till season 3 drops for Strange New Worlds. Man, that's coming up quick. I'll have to refire up the Paramount Plus subscription and get started on that. That's probably going to be one of the more enjoyable binges I've done in a while. I don't even know if I've watched all of the last season of the Lower Decks either, to be honest. Yeah, that's a good time to catch up on some of that stuff for sure. I'm sure I'm sure there's a lot of people that do that with their Paramount Plus subscriptions. They pause it for, like 6 months or something like that. I did. I don't remember much of it though. Um I remember it got weird. Yeah, I don't mind if you talk about it. If anybody else doesn't want to hear any spoilers on Strange New Worlds from last season, then tune away for a minute. Yeah, I don't remember how that all ended. This is why I have to go back and rewatch things. Like a lot of times while I'm in the season, I'll watch the previous episode before I watch the new one. Just to give myself a reminder of what happened. Yeah, I know that there was a lot of stuff going on in the last season in a lot of different areas. Was that like Pike's fiance or whatever? Or girlfriend or yeah. Okay. I was trying to remember if it was her or if it was somebody else. Yeah, I couldn't remember if the Gorn was one of the last things or if it was um the expedition that Ortega was doing in like the Klingon place thing. There was a lot that was going on last season. Hi Ryan, how's it going tonight? Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like I remember a lot of the stuff that happened. I don't remember the order and I don't remember the details. I think that was at the very, very first episode or two or whatever. Yeah, there was because they had the strike team. They were infiltrating an area with the strike team undercover. Was it Vulcan to go get Spock? I think that was pretty much in the middle, like third or that third episode or so. Yeah, definitely excited about it. We're all trying to remember the hazy memories that we have of the last season. Yeah, the trial episode was definitely that was pure Trek. Like that was one of those taking away the like the real world kind of metaphor and stuff. Yeah, the lower decks crossover was a really good thing. It just kind of sucks that the lower decks is done. I think you're gonna be fine, me bicycle. I don't think they're gonna do it again. Now they may make a nod back to it from time to time. Which Mbenga episode was it? The one where with the storybook, or was it the one with the enhancing drugs? Okay, yeah, the butcher. I was gonna say I thought that was in season 1, but I couldn't remember exactly where that all fits together yet. Yeah, the Butcher Jagal though, I think that was well, that ranked up there with my favorite episodes. There was a lot there was a lot of really good ones in the last season. That was the most surprising. The Butcher Jagal was the most surprising one though, by far. Yeah, it was a very interesting setup and it was really unexpected to which level. It's okay to have multiple favorites. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely nothing wrong with really enjoying something like that. That's for sure. I think that's fair to take your opinion into it. That the well, like I said, that's the musical one's gonna be a very, very, very polarizing one. What I really liked about that one is they made reference to it. You know, like the at least we're not all singing, or at least you don't have to hear me sing, or whatever. Like I like that little callback to that moment a lot. Yeah, I definitely agree, Brett. Like I wouldn't I wouldn't go back to watch that, you know, like every single week. Like when I go through the season, like I'm gonna watch that episode, but like I might pick up the phone a little bit more or something than I normally would with the other ones, or find myself otherwise distracted. Man, if I won this actual prize every time that this popped up, I would be making so much par steel. Well, I think they all did a pretty good job. Yeah, under I guess that's one thing I didn't think of is that like that's not probably like even in the strong suit of the people on the writing team to put something like that together too. File a ticket and say you want all the par steel. I'm missing par steel. I completed the alliance event or I completed the COW event 328 times. So I need to get 1 million par steel, please. They would have had to have had somebody doing some of the consulting, but I didn't realize I sent my ship back already. Unless that's kind of like a general like a general skill that like you get taught in writing school. or whatever. I'm using the term writing school very loosely here. I did send in a ticket about my other one because it had gone on for like 3 days, and those things don't usually go on for 3 days. And they responded back to me yesterday morning, and I said, "Well, it's gone now that the event reset." And then that afternoon, I got the Call of War one, and I was like, "Oh, I I have a new one now." So I don't know if this one's gonna disappear at reset tomorrow because that event will fall off of the books, or if it's gonna stay up until 2 days after Cow stops. So I'm guessing it'll probably stop tomorrow, but it'll just pick up with whatever the next event is. The card was really interesting. Like, I don't know if I would say that I was like a fan of it, because I don't really feel like it tied into anything else. Or I mean, it did, but it didn't. Yeah, I mean, it had some continuity in characters, but it didn't have a lot of continuity in content. But I did like the way that it kind of made a full circle, and I think it wrapped up cleanly. Yeah, definitely put a nice bow on the characters. Yeah, there's room for other things there. I don't know if I would ever go back and watch it again unless something else spins off of it. Yeah, I kind of I kind of lost a little bit of interest towards the end a little bit. I think if it wouldn't have been for Q making an appearance back into it, I probably wouldn't have continued watching it. Kind of wish they wouldn't have jettisoned Picard's Romulan girlfriend at the beginning of season 3. Her meeting Beverly and Jack would have been great. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happened weird. But I think that was kind of the point, though, too, that, like, Picard's just had this weird purpose in life. It was weird for a Romulan to have a thick Irish accent. I'm just picturing, like, TOS Romulans with just being Irishmen now. He wouldn't be scared of her behind him. Well, just because Irish people sound drunk doesn't mean they sound happy. Okay, Bunny Bot, that's kind of dark. All right, I'm gonna grab a short break, top off my drink. I will be right back. All right, back. I didn't know what I was in the mood for tonight, so I grabbed a little whiskey because we were talking about Irish people, and I think that was a good choice. Hi, Strange Tamer. How's it going tonight? This was a really good event store for currency. I'm at about 850,000 so far, and there's still more coming. Not to mention the Officer Depot tokens. Between the two, could be the best one ever. That is pretty decent. I don't know where I sit. Oh, I even got to get my Officer Depot tokens and stuff for the day. 850,000 hefty. Like, that's a good job. I think I probably came in. I didn't track it, but I'd be willing to bet that was probably close to 600K. You're like not placing on any events and not completing all the SLBs and stuff or SMSs. It's definitely been generous, and the selection they've had available has been amazing. Like with the officers and just the stuff that's just been available, just the choices have been there. It's almost hard to choose. Usually I kind of be like, okay, I'll just spend it on officers because there's nothing else looks good. But I feel like there's definitely been some other things that have interested me. Yeah, officer tokens have been top notch by far. I took like a couple months off last summer and I got caught up on a couple of those officers that have been missing. Um, Luckily, like one of them was Anarix, so I was able to get him in the augment store. And then I unlocked DeMarco. He's gonna kill me. Yeah, he's gonna kill me. I unlocked DeMarco and Suitor in the event store. And I was like under half of what I needed for DeMarco too, I think. Don't see them moving away from this because this has honestly got to be the easier thing for them to do too. Like this feels like it's low effort on their side in a good way because they don't have to put a lot of thought into what's in the event store. They just make it available to us. And then when they have the bucketed out between, like the choice tokens and the event store currency and then like these other officer token things, like they break it up like that, they can track their dollar values to the things really, really well. But instead of making like the event store currency available for everything, they can isolate it into specific things. Yeah, there's been a couple of times where I was wondering if they didn't screw some of their math up. But I too, I've been very, very happy with the way things have been running. I like the way that the events were orchestrated this month, where you had like 4 or 5 days to be able to do the different events, even though the events were hard and grueling. But being able to have 5 days to do 5 events that gave you choice, and choice is one of the best things this game can be offered. I hope they're listening to the good parts, like keeping choices up. Choices up is, I think everybody's been praising that portion of things. Yeah, some of those events were a little bit more grindy than others. But as long as they were multi-day, it didn't feel too bad because you could do like a normal day's effort against it. And like even with the Augment Exile grinding, like I felt like there was a good payoff for it because that was all progression in the loop. And I feel like loop progression was a good thing. And like it was not sidetracking, because like when they do the quests, when they have events that are sidetracking from like the main goal of the arc, I feel like that's kind of weird. Like when they have you out doing Borg probes and killing um like Lost and Herogen, and even doing the faction stuff. If there's a lot of effort put towards that stuff, I feel like it's detracting away from what your main focus is supposed to be for the month. But when a lot of the heavy grinding is focused on what the arc is, I feel like that's fine. I gave it a lot of minimum effort the last 2 months. Like I'm still not at superior for my augment rep. But I am planning on getting there. I'm going to be there before the end of the break here. I want to make sure that I have Khan and Joaquin and everything all set up for the next month. Yeah, the cons meta isn't over and you had enough currency. Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff given in this little break. Like it's not the slough fest that it usually is. Like this is time well spent again. Because normally like the officer flash pass, like you do your one event for the day, you get your officer guard redemption thing, and all's honky dory. You can do your mega cube event or do your Call of War event, whatever you're working on, or faction hunt. But this one, it's like kind of the best stuff of the arc is still going. Also, some of the worst, because this priority 1 ATA crap is wearing heavily.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Hi, Dr. Iron Chef. Aloha. Thanks for stopping in. How are you doing? I can say tonight. How are you doing tonight? Or is it still afternoon? Crap. Oh, you failed 90 missions at 90%. I know I had one that was at like 97% the other day, and I failed it too, and I couldn't believe it. Just finishing work, about to head home. That is one of the best feelings on a Friday. Yeah, like I screwed up. I was taking the wrong approach with the P1 ATAs. I was chasing the crit percentage. I didn't even think about the completion percentage. Like most of my officers were strong enough that if I did it with the regular ATAs, I didn't have to worry about it. But it needed special attention with the priority ones, and I failed a lot of those assignments by not paying attention and not taking a critical thinking path towards it. And I've missed out on a lot of Pioneer credits because of that. But I'm starting to catch up. I'm understanding the loop a lot better, and man, it's it's starting to feel nice. I'm gonna look forward to when it's actually gonna be the normal grind of the event. You know, like there's not gonna be any special attention where you have to do these events. If you're just doing the loop, it's gonna be great. 4-day weekend in Canada? Well, nice. Yeah, that's what I didn't I that was the one thing I didn't think about is that the Pioneer credits are not part of the crit. The Pioneer and even that, you know, like a lot of the crits were for one officer shard. Like your crit increase on that's not going to increase the number of officer shards for a lot of it. Well, no, that's not how that works. You're only going to get one officer shard for most of those, and yeah, that's not a good trade-off. They didn't sell a $20 pack with charts at all. That is kind of surprising because that would have probably been like a really strong revenue stream. Because there's a lot of players that are okay with spending $20, but not 50 or 100. Oh, it took me a while to get in the habit of doing the pull in the augment store. I thought the one in the away team's refinery covered the starts and the speed ups. I didn't realize the starts only came from the augment store at first. So like occasionally I would have like some extra stuff and I would feel good and pull the one in the augment store, but I wasn't doing it religiously at first. But I've started to now and I can kind of do double pulls for the most part. Because I've got enough of the favors up past needing the commons. It must be. Yeah, the autofill does prioritize the crits. That would be kind of nice if they did have a toggle or something that you could set for your priority there. Yeah, 100 bucks on charts. Yeah. I mean, I've still only got the one assignment slot, so I don't feel like I need that. I don't think I could outspend what I get normally. Well, they have it set up so you can skip a lot of the P1 assignment ones. Like there's 2 or 3 of them that you can skip or something like that. Man, this cargo fills up quick these days. I'm gonna have enough refines of the uncommons to last a while, I think. That needs 15 minutes. Oh yeah, that's a lot of double pulls in there. No, I need to double check if I need any of these common wrath credits for that last favor. No. So I can spend that all on... Yeah, I'm not going to worry about building construction right now. So I can spend that all on getting the charts. Ooh, that was a really rough pull. Only 16 hours of speed ups. Kind of hoping to get, one of the 3 one-day ones. I think I still have one from the away team's chest. I got to remember to pull this one too for the Prime Valor emblems. They reduced the milestones by 200 points. Interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 1800 too. They must have had people making like a low chance of completing it or something. Ah. Okay, yeah, because I thought that I had heard 4. I've got the Defiant max, I'm pretty sure. I still pull a lot of this stuff just because. Like, definitely gonna get like the 5-star stuff. It doesn't benefit my game a lot, but it doesn't hurt. Well, some of that stuff I've noticed that they were putting it in the bugs channel and not as like a real announcement. They did that yesterday with the I think it was yesterday, maybe it was the day before. Yeah, with the Pioneer credits that they were sent out yesterday, the Pioneer chests. They put that in the known issues channel. Yeah, I didn't know if they were gonna start sneaking stuff in there when they didn't want it to be like really, really announced. Like if that was gonna be like some kind of new weird tactic. And still getting transporter patterns for sure. I'm kind of surprised they wouldn't have put an announcement out for that. Unless it's something that wasn't being reported heavily by players. Which I guess what are the chances of that? I mean, if there's one thing they can count on for Star Trek Fleet Command players, it's that there's a large number that play the numbers, follow the numbers, track the numbers, pay attention to the numbers. Like if there's an issue, it's gonna get fleshed out pretty dang quick. Man, getting so close to that GS31 unlock. Like that's really close to the day that Strange New Worlds premieres. Man, I can't wait to be done with some of these forbidden texts or these artifacts. All right, through all that crap. $18 million to go to Superior. Still need to look at the Alliance tournaments again. It's been a while. I'm hoping to see like the G6 material spend. Mess hall to 88. Oof. Holy crap. That's a lot of officer levels. Where are you coming from? There you are. I actually just did some work on mine last week. Partially because I was trying to get some more officer stats for the new P1 assignments. Yeah, for sure. I haven't even seen like the good or wait, that's the event that's up right now. This acquire uncommon commander skill points. This is the one that I want to use to unlock my building upgrade for the command center, right? Yeah. That's the one I've been waiting for. That's the thing that sucks about having the building under upgrade currently is I can't really look to see what the tier reward is for it now. All right, let's speed that bad boy. I've been waiting on that for a hot minute. $7,200. Oof. Ooh, that felt good. So multiphasic credits, syndicate XP, 120,000 fusion rods is a lot of rods. I don't know if I want to do 8 armadas. I did 8 armadas the other night. Yeah, a couple of those are nice. Especially like when they line up with the I knew what you meant by cube. I'm waiting for the 6-star material spend one to pop up. Ones that we have up right now are a little on the rough side. That is not wrong. There are a number of math errors. Hence the reason we got 15,000 Pioneer credits yesterday. Yeah, the Borg solo and Dominion solo are always the ones that I like to do because I never have enough incentive to go do those on a regular basis, so I run out of the credits pretty often. So having an excuse to actually go run a couple of them is nice. Yeah, at the end of the last Lines tournament, I actually spent myself all out of the currency for once. Usually I hold on to like a pretty decent chunk just in case there's a change that offers something even more important than what's in there currently. But I kind of decided that I wanted to get a couple of things. I had a lot of primes that I could use a little bit of work on that weren't like important enough to actually buy a pack for, but for using store currency like that was definitely worth it. That's one of the tough things because if you get relegated, then you lose out on some of the things that you can purchase. And that relegation happens immediately. Like that was the thing that really surprised me is like I kind of figured that it would last until the end of the store, but no, as soon as the Alliance tournament ended, it changed the store on us. Yeah, getting Kirshara, that's a good one. I mean, especially since it's kind of a convenience thing. You know, like it doesn't really improve your ability to play the game specifically. It's just like a real quality of life one. Yeah. Well, like right now, I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see this message right here, but we're at low participation right now. And 24 out of 98. That's bad. Like we had a really good participation during the last tournament, but like this one, I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know if it was too small to see on the phone or not. Yeah, we're under 50%. Which I was really surprised that I don't know how long it's been there, but I just noticed that they had a summary of your participation at the top of I don't remember if it was the leaderboard or the store. Yeah, the leaderboard. No, member scores. Is that not it? That is not it. Okay. Never mind. I thought that was the total number of our alliance that had participated. That's the total number of teams that alliances that are in the league with us. And right now my biggest spend in the alliance tournament store is the Prime Valor emblems because I kind of want to actually get my disco range up finally. I got to go back and look. I've got one other one that I need to get some extra particles for. And I think I finished off the third prime that I had been working on. I think the Omega particle is the other one that I need. Enough of the Admiral tokens for the Epic Officer pool. Oh man, I am short 500 right now. Yeah, the next time one of those events are up, I should be able to scratch enough points together to be able to get one of those. I don't even know what pays out on that right now. Like, where do they get those tucked away? I don't even remember what events show them. I know just all of a sudden it'll be like, oh, okay, that one does. Yeah, 600 points in the P1 assignments. Ugh. I'd hoped that I was gonna get enough speed ups to be able to speed up the next assignment. Yeah, there's some event that pays it. I don't remember. I don't think I've ever been able to pull that chest once yet, though. Well, I got a 1 day there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's like SLB events that pay off in it. I mean, there might be other ways to get it too. That might be just one of the ways. I'm trying to remember what event it would have been though. Like March of Progress would have been a pretty good one for it. Oh, Ahead of the Curve. Ahead of the Curve has them. So yeah, it's doing those daily events and completing in those leaderboards and stuff. Hmm. Like I think the daily events are the only way that I actually get any of these points because I never get first or second in most leaderboards. Very, very, very occasionally. I don't even know what weekly leaderboards there are in this game. Yeah, I'm lucky if I can get the second tier. Like first tier is usually a shoe in, but second tier, I mean, if I put a lot of effort towards it, maybe. Like I don't put any actual effort towards completing it. I probably should. Like I didn't really think about some of the good stuff that's tied to it. Because like those officer shards, that's a pretty decent reward. Like that should definitely be a goal to try to get that done once a month. Like I understand I'm not going to compete on most of the leaderboards. Like the only leaderboard that I ever really do good on is like if there's the fleet commander upgrade or sometimes like a forbidden tech one, because I'll hang on to the forbidden tech stuff for like 3 months. I mean, it's progress, right? Like at a minimum, that's levels to help upgrade your mess hall, or that's officers that can be more beneficial to throw stats on for next assignment. Like all officers have a place in this game, serve a purpose. some are some are more than others, but well, and it's kind of important too because that kind of ties into the augment store now too, because there's minimum levels you have to meet for that too. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that mechanic ends up in a third spot in the game. Like it just doesn't randomly pop up into 2 by accident. The Gorn Eviscerator credits. Yeah, the ship parts that you can get, they can be very, very useful. Especially for some of those ships like that one where it's got a really slow upgrade path. Like that store takes weeks, if not months, off of the grind. It was kind of like the same thing with the Reliant one when they had that in the store. You know, like I got my Reliant up to tier 4 like super quick because I was able to pull parts out of the event store. Yeah, the amount of stuff that they've made available and the places that they made it available has been really good. It's been fairly quick too. Like a lot of that stuff, it took, like 9 to 12 months to show up in the game. And, Reliant was introduced, what, April? February? I mean, it wasn't that long ago. Well, artifacts are awesome because they apply to all the ships. You know, Forbidden Tech, Chaos Tech, they're great and all, but you know, that only applies to one ship. And man, artifacts apply to everything. Well, it's a large payoff on the front side, and then yeah, it takes a lot of steps to start making a big impact again. But yeah, first tier unlock on something like that, you know, like that's a big impact on the game. And then once you get up until like the fifth or sixth tier, it starts feeling like an accomplishment again. And it gets really awesome when you start getting them maxed out and you start getting the shards for like the last few tiers of them. And you happen to just have enough to be able to just max it completely. Yeah, 40 days worth in one AT store. Yeah, that's a big impact. That's set my eviscerator ahead by bet probably at least 3 months. I'm trying to get I do have a little bit of a priority towards the eviscerator because like that's still needed to get the apex isomatter. You know, like there's not a good way to really get that without the eviscerator. And I kind of want to be able to get it into like the G6 systems, so I just kind of have like an obsessive objective to be able to get it to the level 60 system or 61 or whatever. I don't actually even know how much of that's tied into like ship level. Because like the officers, it's just tier 1 is all it really needs. These parts change. Like the only thing that really changes is what parts you have available to you. And then like the cost of the refinery here maybe. But like my G6 stuff is only the common parts. So it's like barely worthwhile for me to pull it. I mean, up to this point, it's basically been a semi-irrelevant ship to my actual gameplay. Like the only thing that it truly gets me is I think it's Apex Isomatter, the pink stuff. Yeah, the Apex Isomatter. That's the only thing that it truly gets me. Because the volatile Isomatter, I can get that with my cube and stuff like that. I don't know, tier 9 might not be bad. That's probably even higher than mine is, I bet. No, that's right where mine is at too. I wouldn't say that I put it like a high priority, but it's definitely something. It's just getting to the point where it's getting past what the store provides from a reasonable level. I need 450, 860, 1070, like 800. I don't know if I pulled the parts on this one or not. So that's enough for me to get my tier up out of this still. And it's not expensive. Not really. Welcome back, Ice Wolf. Thanks for the gift to Strange Tamer. Yeah, that was. I don't even remember half of these alerts when I set them up. I just kind of go through and pick them. I'm like, ah, that one's kind of relevant. That one's kind of relevant. That's got a cool vibe. I think that one. I got a couple of them set up where there's like 3 or 4 of them that pop up randomly. Good night, Mean Bicycle. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing, Ice Wolf. Now the alert for the subscription feels a little bit underperforming compared to the gifted one. I'm not gonna lie, there's definitely channels I subscribe to mainly for the emotes. Because there's always circumstances for fun ones. I do. I think that's a pretty reasonable charge for what you get for the Gorn parts. Because I mean that's like about a half a tier on the ship. And that's I mean, that's not bad. It was like 6,500 of the store credit. That's like what, one of the big guys? No. Oh, I didn't realize that all the 10,000s weren't the same. That's interesting. But yeah, it's just a little bit over one of the 10,000. I think I'm gonna have to make a change to that because that should be at least a little bit different. Yeah, the last 3 were all 4,400, and that first one was like 850. But I guess the difference on those were like the last 3 were kind of like bending ones. It was like the 120,000 fusion rods, 25,000 XP, 17,000 multiphasic credits. I mean, those are all $100 pack type of ones. 4,000 Armada directives is kind of easy to come by. It's part of a different group. Oh, I guess I didn't realize that they had them that categorized. Okay, 2 losses against this DUI. That's crazy. If I lose a third one, I'm done doing augment for tonight. Okay, I'm not done doing augment, but I'm gonna be dissatisfied. My RNG's gotta be better than that. There we go. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean, I just kind of assumed. Well, I guess that could be how it is. It's the like the pull directives one is a group, and the other acquire ones are a group. It won't let you gift a channel to offline. That is kind of weird. Go live real quick. Well, I'm pretty sure that you can normally you can subscribe to a channel yourself. You can subscribe to a channel yourself while it's offline. Oh, the secret store link. I always like to use the store links instead of just the instead of doing it straight from mobile or something. Because those extra fees and stuff that you got to pay extra for suck. Yeah, I'm kind of getting to that point too. Like, I get more satisfaction out of gifting than I do to subscribing for the most part, except for the emotes. Like, it'd be kind of cool, like if you gifted 5 subs to a channel, that you'd get the that level of creativity that comes behind that. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't put some kind of a little extra incentive. Like, the only well, as a streamer, I get some incentive on like the VODs, but the just not getting ads is kind of like the only other real incentive. But I do really enjoy having Turbo. Like it's the same reason that I've got the YouTube Premium too. Like not not having to get served ads is really nice. That was one of the things I had problems with like having like a Disney Hulu Plus subscription is like even with your subscription you were still getting served ads. It was kind of like, man, I feel like I'm paying for nothing at this point. Yeah, yeah, there was a lot of discussion that was happening in another channel I was in last night too with TwitchCon and like not having some incentives for affiliates and partners as far as discounts and like the store merch or the tickets or anything like that. I could be twins with your brother-in-law. I've got a couple doppelgangers out there. My best friend's cousin is a pretty close. Like we look like we could definitely be brothers or cousins. He and I probably look better closer together than me and my own brother do. He became my grandpa. Yeah. Well, if it's earlier than he would have wanted to happen, I could understand. Or if it's just that moment where he's like, "Holy shit, I'm old." Ah, yeah, 56 is that's reasonable by all means. That's probably that's probably pretty close to when my parents became grandparents too. Ooh, 31 is rough. I don't know if emotionally I'd be prepared for that. Like just as not counting like ages of events happening, other than just like the mental age of 31 being a grandparent. Like a lot of people aren't even ready to be parents at 31. 49 became a dad 3 months ago. Yeah, that's not on that's not all that uncommon either. Like that's that's that gets kind of weird when it comes to like high school graduation time, but like that's all what it is. Yeah, definitely. Congratulations. I know I had a friend that had a surprise conception with his wife. It was one of those things where he wasn't supposed to be able to become pregnant anymore, so they kind of took that for word. And it turned out that can't became can. Ah, come on. I did not hit stop. The pets are a blessing. Yeah, kids is definitely a choice for a lot of people. There's a lot of people that choose not to have it. You'll have regrets for no children who have to change your diapers. Well, if you get lucky, you might get a cute nurse. You never say how much money. It's not a bad tactic. Leave them guessing. I might have to remember to do that with my nieces too. And leave your STFC account. Yeah, by the time that happens, the what level 90 account might be worth a little bit of money. Be collectible as like a retro game. Playing it up 70 at 90. Yeah, when they launch G7, the economy is gonna lighten up a little bit. Having keeping the level to match would be an interesting tactic. Like in a way, it'd almost be a challenge to keep yourself like down, not only being able to do one ops level a year. But man, you'd have some strong ships for your level. If they tighten up the PvP bans or something, and like something like that might not be that bad. I mean, I could almost see them like nerfing it to a point where they just make you want to go. I mean, that's crazy to think though. Like in 2 or 3 years worth of time, like that's kind of like where the minimum ops range is going to be for like the arc events. I think it's probably just about time for me to think about ending for the night. I see Major Samo is celebrating a affiliate anniversary. Why don't we head on over and say hello to her and wish her a happy affiliate anniversary? All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining tonight. I really appreciate the time. I really appreciate the subscriptions and the bits. Uh, I will be back again on Sunday. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. We have some raid messages. So our non-subs can use that message. And our subs can use this message. Thank you. Appreciate it, Ryan. You have a great weekend as well. Have a good night, Retro. Have a good night, Ice Wolf. I will definitely see you on Sunday.